People have been dissecting the recent events at the BAFTAs, where an actor with Tourette syndrome shouted the N word at two black acting legends. I want to talk about it because I believe it's an interesting mirror of our society and of human behavior. And to me, it shows how simple life is, but also how complicated we can make it to be when we insist. I've said it here before that when I was at university, one of my lecturers gave me a trick to understand events at the global scale. And he said, try to reduce it at individual interpersonal relationships, and everything will start making sense. I think this prism can apply in this situation. So picture this. We're going to take an example. You and I, two people, we're walking down the street. I happen to just sneeze. I do my best to block it, but some of it falls on you. Now, sneezing is involuntary in most cases, and I do not mean to cause any harm to you, but I notice that harm and discomfort has been caused. So I decide to apologize. I say, I am sorry, I didn't mean to. Hopefully, you also know that sneezing is involuntary and you understand it. You understand that I did not mean to spit on you, but you realize that it has happened and you clearly feel uncomfortable. But I have apologized, recognizing my mistake. So you also hopefully accept the apology and you say, I understand this is an unfortunate thing, but these are things that happen in life. I've apologized. You've hopefully accepted the apology. We close the case and we move on. That's how simple life is, or rather, life can be, because we can make it much more complicated. What we're seeing unfold is not a case of institutions being evil, because we tend to forget that institutions are just full of people sitting in boardrooms. And what we're noticing is that the people in the boardrooms are terrified. They are afraid to admit fault because they've been trained to understand rather, that admitting fault is a sign of weakness. So when these people in institutions take certain positions to protect their brands, what they're not realizing is that they are breaking a fundamental code in human interactions, which is that when harm has been caused by your actions, whether it was voluntary or involuntary, your best course of action, or the first one, should be to recognize it and apologize. So when someone who has been hurt, who has been offended or harmed by your action is talking, the most human thing you can do is listen, acknowledge, and simply apologize. The failure to do that and insisting on your position is what is causing what we're seeing today. The situation is, in my opinion, unnecessarily unraveling, but it does show the failures of our human nature. Why do we not want to accept and admit that we have caused harm? We are at fault. Sometimes it happens to everyone, whether we want it or not. We find ourselves on the wrong side of things in our interpersonal relationships. So let this be a message to everyone at BAFTAs, BBC, and all these institutions. Just apologize, move on, so we can all enjoy great art. But to you at the interpersonal level, remember that sometimes your actions can cause harm, willingly or unwillingly. And when that happens, the best course of action is to listen and apologize to the other. I hope that made sense. See you tomorrow, hopefully.